Welcome to Mobile Math, math lessons on the go. Today's learning goal, by the end of this lesson, I should be able to multiply double and triple digit positive numbers together using an area model. So we're going to be continuing with the area model, but moving into some larger numbers. So it's important to remember that multiplication is a shortcut for repetitive addition. So when we're asked to multiply numbers together, the final result is called a product. So product, multiply, times, those things all come from the same sort of family. So let's get right into it. We've looked at this problem before, so a quick review of the area model. The nice part about the area model is it allows me as the user to break up into user-friendly numbers. So I've done the same problem twice. Once I've broken the 13 down into a 5 plus a 5 plus a 3. The second one I've left it as a 10, so whatever numbers I'm comfortable with. And when I look at the area of each of these, they both sum for a total of 52, so the purpose of the area model is to allow me to calculate smaller areas, then add them together to determine the final product. So a reminder that dimensions go on the outside and they multiply together to get the area on the inside. So let's jump right in with some big problems here. We're going to multiply 38 by 25. So I've done this two different ways. The first example, I've broken the 30 down into three groups of 10 and an 8, and the 25 into two groups of 10 plus a 5. And now the nice part about breaking these into smaller pieces is, one, they're more manageable, a little more user-friendly, but also they're repetitive. So a 10 times a 10 for the first block is 100. Now you'll notice that I actually have several of those. So once I've made the calculation once, I can fill all of those in fairly quickly. If I move to the final column, I have an 8 times a 10, which is an 80, and I have two of those. And then if I move to the bottom, I have 5 times 10, which is 50, and I have those 3 times. And the final square is this last corner, and it's a 5 times an 8, or a 40. So when I start adding these values up, I might take all of the 100s together, and so I have 600. I might add all of the 50s together for a 150. And then I will finish with these two together and this one together makes a total of 200. So my final result here would be 950. So 600, 7, 800, 900. I've counted my hundreds plus a 50, so 950. If I do the same problem, but I'm going to use some larger numbers. So in this case, I'm going to start with a 30 times a 20, and I'm fairly comfortable with those numbers, so I come up with 600. If I do 20 times an 8, I get 160. 5 times a 30 is 150, and 5 times 8 is 40. And you'll notice those four numbers appear over here on the left side as well, and when I total them all up, I still get the same answer of 950. So that was two fairly large numbers. We're going to go a little bit bigger. So 274 times 46. So these are some very large numbers now. I'm going to break the 274 down into two groups of 100 plus a 70 plus a 4, and I'm going to continue breaking my 46 down into groups of 10. So I have 4 groups of 10 and a 6. And again, I'm going to look for some repetitive patterns here. So 10 times 100 is 1,000, and I have that in a whole bunch of locations. So I'm going to fill those in fairly quickly. And there's 10 times 100 done 8 different times, so I might even write that down right now. I know that the blue is 8,000. And let's try the 70s column. So 70 times 10, that's a 700. So I've got a couple of those. I write them down. Now, depending on your comfort level, you could sum these in your head. You may have to write them on the side. But if I have 4 groups of 700, that's the same as 2,800. Let's move to the final column. So I have 4 times 10, that's a 40. Got 3 groups of 40. Oh, one more group of 40, so that's good. And then I might even add those up right now, so that would be 160. And I've run out of colors, so let's go to black for the bottom. So 6 times 100, this would be a 600. I have a couple of those, so I might write those down right now as well. And then let's switch back to blue. And then the last part will be 6 times 70, or 420, and 6 times 4, or 24. So as long as I make sure I write those down, I now have all of my terms present. I can use some of my column adding strategies from previous videos. So if I look at my ones total, I have 4 ones. If I look at my tens column, I have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tens, or that makes a new group of 100. So I have 1, 8, 1, 9, 10, 11, 12, 16 groups of 100, so that makes a new group of 1,000. And 8, 10, 11, 12, 12 groups of 1,000, so my final result here is 12,604. I know it's a big answer. We will have some other ways to solve this in the next few videos that you might find more efficient, but the area model does work. So I'm going to leave you with these two to try. So if you could pause the video and try the following, and then I'll reveal the answers. I won't go through them all because it might be a little bit time consuming, so if you could press pause now, please. Okay, welcome back. So I will just reveal the two answers, and you can check your answers to the pieces that I have. So for the first one, I broke it down into 20 plus 8, and I left the 30 alone. I was fairly comfortable with that. And when I added them together, I ended up with 840 for the first one. When I broke the second question down, there's a lot more pieces to it. There's a lot more adding going on. I don't really have the room to write it all, but I came up with a final answer of 25,650. Now you may have broken those numbers down differently. That's completely up to you. Hopefully you came up with the same answer. If not, double check your math, double check my math, make sure everything's okay. And again, thank you for watching. Please watch again and pause where you may have had difficulties, and good luck in your future math problems.